came time to write scripts or shot lists, I will not ever allow someone to outwork me on that sense. Like I'll wake up, when I'm up this morning, I check my phone, make sure if there's no emergencies, and I'm open writing. And there was an interview with like Morgan Freeman. I don't remember what, it might have been Inside the Actor Studio or something. And someone had interviewed him at one point saying like, and then you took some years off just to relax. He was like, took years off? I didn't take any years off. When I wasn't working, I wasn't getting hired. Morgan Freeman was sitting there telling a story about how many times he's been on the ground, face down, people stomping on him, just, he's done. And then it just was a person that lifted him up by the shoulders, put him back on his feet. This is Morgan Freeman saying this, okay? Like one of the most prolific actors of all time.
Facts.
You know, I've been in that position, just in tears, on my back, like I can't do this anymore, I quit. Like no one wants what I've got to say. And it's Allie that's like, nope.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of the Inspire to Inspire podcast, the place for actors, creators, and filmmakers to tune in to connect the dots in your own journey. On today's episode, I'm excited for this one, man. I'm actually really excited. Every episode, you're gonna get this excitement from me because every one of these guests I have true, genuine relationships with. They've actually made an impact on my life in a powerful way. So today, on today's episode, we've got Nick Richey, an individual who is the perfect representation of what it means to get things done. He casted me as one of the leads in the award-winning film called Lolo that was released in 2019 and currently can be watched on Paramount Plus.
Have you ever seen a girl naked before, like in person? I feel like you're nervous.
Nah, not at all.
At a low-income magnet school, I have seen my fair share of troubled students.
She didn't graduate. I was gonna go for my GED, but I got pregnant.
If we were judged by the worst things we had done, then we would probably all be considered bad people.
And within the past year, he has just released another movie called 1-800-HOT-NIGHT that has been in the press left and right.
Called 1-800-HOT-NIGHT?
I think they're gonna take me to a foster family, but I don't want to.
I gotta go.
No, just wait, don't hang up, please.
I ain't gonna take you. I won't let him.
And I won't let him either.
You make your own decisions, kid. That's what men do.
He not only directs, but writes and produces his own films. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Nick Richey, everyone.
Thanks for having me on.
How'd I do?
You did great. That was
Is that good? Is that solid, right?
Very nice intro.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to just make sure these people they know who you are, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna have you follow me around all day. And,
I know, just start documenting like, yeah. Okay, who's this meeting with? Okay,
Yeah.
you know who this man is? Okay. All right, so man, I'm so glad you're able to come in today. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's great just to see you. I feel like you don't do it enough. LA, you know, when you live in like different neighborhoods, you might as well be in like different countries half the time. You just kind of get in your own bubble. And so when you hit me up to come in, I was ready.
Bro, I'm so thankful because here's the thing. I know your schedule, like not down to the T, but I just know how active you are. You know what I'm saying? You're always writing. You're always in meetings, pitching shows. You're developing your own projects, whether you're in production, post-production, pre-production. You're in some form of production. Every time we catch up, we talk, we speak. And man, you know, so just to kind of hit things off today, man, you know, a question I really want to ask you is like, why filmmaking? Like what got you into this industry? How did things come to you? And honestly, I want to know what's your why. I don't think I've ever asked you like truly, what's your why? Why do you even do this, man?
Well, there's like, I think it goes, there's sort of like a bifurcated path. There's path one, which is the spiritual path. I was always telling stories. Like, I mean, I grew up pretty pretty poor. We didn't have video cameras or anything, but we had like a tape deck, and you could record, right? And so I would record. I have an older brother. I have 3 brothers.
Was it like the play and stop record? You had to like record, stop, and like, you know?
Yeah, you could like record, and then you could play it back.
Yeah.
And so my parents still have these tapes. I made these tapes called The Adventures of Ben and Nick, and it was literally like a narrative podcast before there was podcasts.
Oh, that's
it was just on tapes, and we talked about, you know, just ridiculous stuff, aliens living on the streets, and we had characters, and so there was clearly a part of my being that was wrapped up in storytelling before I thought of it as anything else or a potential career path. I was doing that and not aware of it. My grandmother was an actress. She just passed away a couple years ago. It's a big reason I'm here today. There's that side of it that I think is innate. It's almost like built in. It's in my DNA to some degree. Then you have to nurture that. I did not nurture that. I grew up stealing and getting in trouble.
Doing hooligan stuff.
Doing hooligan stuff. And basically I was in college, and I was selling fake IDs to pay for college. I was just broke. I had an internship. I was working at Red Lobster. I think we've talked about this.
Bro, Red Lobster again. For those who don't know, I worked at Red Lobster for 2 years as a server before I got my first breakout run right down. But we got Red Lobster stories.
It turns out Red Lobster doesn't make you enough money to pay for college. So I was selling fake IDs. I almost got arrested. Almost got in really big trouble, and would have ended up in prison. And I was like, this isn't what I'm meant to do.
You got caught.
Almost got caught.
Okay.
Got brought in for questioning. My guy didn't roll on me, it turns out. I never gave up anything.
Yeah.
We were able to get away, but they were playing the game theory where had I given something up, and I didn't know in the state of Oregon at the time, every fake ID sold carries a 1-year sentence.
No way.
And I sold like hundreds.
Yeah, I was like, you was over here.
I mean, no, I wouldn't have gone to
It was a plug.
Prison
It was
that
a
long.
plug.
Even if I went for a year, if I got,
A day is too long.
It destroys me. Yeah, it destroys my life. And so there was. I'll take the less Byzantine route to this. Basically, what happened was, I was watching the Kids WB one morning, like right after this, and they were holding auditions to host the Kids WB, to be like the guy in between the show going like, next up is Pokemon. And,
lit.
And
like Saturday mornings,
yeah,
I
so I was
love
like,
that.
Fuck it, I'm gonna go down there. And I went down there and I auditioned, went through 3 auditions, and I got this part, like auditioning or hosting the Kids WB. And it like reignited all of this, like, I just kind of imagined this like dormant creativity sitting back here. But at the time, again, just grew up broke, grew up on welfare, WIC, coupon, go meat, cheese, and eggs, at the store type of thing. And I just wanted to make money. Yeah. That's all I could think of. Like, make money, just don't be poor. Make money, don't be poor. That's what most poor people do. That's
absolutely
why they don't really get ahead, right? And why it's hard to get ahead is because you're like just can only see like 2 feet in front of you. And so all the creative stuff lies dormant. This reignites that. All of a sudden, I'm like, I go into like an acting class. People start reaching out.
Just tapping into the craft.
Yeah,
pretty much.
yeah. And there was kind of just some crazy scenarios that lined up in the universe. I got my degree in economics, and while I was like finishing those last couple months of that, and I was taking acting class in Portland, and I was hosting the Kids WB. There's a cast director named Seth Yanklowitz, which you probably know. He came up at the time. He was a cast director for 20th Century Fox Films. He just saw me in Portland and was like, I want you to audition for the lead role in this movie, Flicka. And I auditioned. I didn't get the part. This guy, Ryan Quanten, who like was in True Blood and stuff, ended up getting the part. And,
Yeah.
But here I was in Portland, like, wow, this is crazy. So at the time, I had a job offer to be a parametric estimator for Boeing in their integrated defense system. So I had like built up this mathematical skill set. And had already done an internship up there working on the Jupiter Icy Moons Orbiter program, which is just kind of crazy. I know, it's like a crazy thing. Yeah. I did that my junior
I've never known this, bro.
Yeah.
Out of all these years. Wait, what? That's crazy.
So I had a job offer at Boeing. I was going to go up there, like, dope job offer, security clearance, like you're working with foreign governments, like, Air Force programs, things like that. F-22 Raptor at the time we were working on. It was just it was what I was gonna do to make money.
Yeah.
Well, then guys like Seth Yankovic show up and be like, hey, come try to be the lead in this movie. Then this guy Ed Johnson comes to town and similarly connects me with someone. I think, man, I'll go to LA for a couple months. I graduate college May 8th. I drive down to LA May 9th. My job doesn't start until August. So I got this couple of months. I'm like, what's going to happen in a couple months? I don't know, but I'm going to come down sleeping on my friend's floor in a sleeping bag for $200 a month, working at Red Lobster in Canoga
Just
Park.
grinding it out in the trenches.
Yeah.
Trenches. Yeah.
And I got this audition. Gail Ann Hurd, who produces The Walking Dead and the Terminator franchise, Alien franchise and stuff. She held an audition. Her husband was directing a movie. And I went and read for them and booked the lead role. Like within the first month of being in LA, a month later, I'm on a plane to Fiji making this movie.
Dude, that's actually amazing because that doesn't happen for too many people that first come out to LA either.
No.
Usually, you know what I'm saying? So that's actually a big blessing that happened at that speed for you, you know what I'm saying?
It was a big blessing. I called Boeing. I'm like, I'm not coming. I'm not going to. Then I just committed my life at that point to storytelling. And I'm giving, obviously, the abbreviated version of this. There was a lot of other things going on. I had been writing creatively in college through different classes, things like that.
Yeah.
What I realized is that as much as I loved acting, I really loved storytelling in a more general sense, even more.
Yeah.
And so that's what really started to nudge me in the direction of writing. I never thought I would consider directing. And basically, I had written this film Lolo, which you starred in, and while I was writing it, I just thought no one can direct the story but me. These are my girls. I grew up with these girls.
Because Lolo was based off some of the experiences from your childhood, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So it was just so personal, and I had no experience directing really, just some commercial stuff here and there. But really, writing was my first love.
So Lolo was your debut feature film.
Yeah. First thing I ever directed, by myself.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. I have to hit a strong timeout here. So before this podcast, right, I was just talking to Nick prior, and I was telling him, I was like, out of all the shows and the movies that I've done so far, bro, Lolo was one of the most efficiently ran sets I've still been on to this day, especially with the budget that he had. Mind you, it wasn't no big budget type project, but the way things were operated, you would have thought it was. You know what I'm saying? That's why I wanted to I'm flabbergasted because I forgot that this was your debut feature film, bro. And the way you had things operate on the set, the way you took care of us, in terms of the scheduling, made sense. Yeah. We ate good. You know what I'm saying? We were efficient when it comes to the takes. We weren't spending 10, 15 takes doing scenes. It was just, to me, in my experience, your preparation for that film was amazing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just saying that because I was in it, but I just want the people to know, to really understand, your preparation up until this point, man, has been so much grinding it out. This is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna pursue. But I love the fact that directing wasn't even something you were even focused on, but you're like, I know how I can tell this story. No one can tell it better than me. And for you to actually step up to the plate and execute it, bro. Man, bro, if y'all ain't seen it yet, Lolo, Paramount Plus, go check it out. But continue the story though. So
I appreciate you saying that. I mean, that was a really big challenge to me, and I think it's also a testament to you guys that I think the best leaders, and I always try to think about this, are the ones that pick the best leaders to be around them. Mm-hmm. I think the insecure leaders want to just be the top. And then they don't want anyone questioning.
Facts.
And I think really great leaders want other leaders around them.
Absolutely, makes everybody better.
Yeah,
it's a strong
challenge
team.
them, lift me up. Let me get on your shoulders. I don't know everything, and I didn't. And so I felt like I cast the best actors, you included. There was people. We talked about this earlier today before we jumped on the recording. The casting process is a minefield of bad decisions. You know what I'm saying?
There's so much that's out of our control, man.
Well, out of your control for the actors, but even from behind the camera sense, just people that even you trust whispering in your ear, trying to guide you to the wrong person. It's just wild.
For what example?
It could be, but Dom is, you actually have a big social media following, but let's say you don't for the sake of this conversation. And I saw your reading. I'm like, oh, that's my guy. That's it. He's Benny. Like, this is done. Lock it up. And then some other guy walks in and he's pretty good, but he's got 100,000 followers on Instagram. And all of a sudden I got people going, hey, you know, man, they start making excuses for the acting. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, you know, now you happen to have already been on Ray Donovan. I was a big fan of the show, but that didn't matter. Yeah. You just came in with your charisma and that's my guy. No different than Adam, who's, you know, one of your best friends now.
Yeah, my guy.
You know, played Memo in the film, and he had never done a film before.
Exactly.
You know, this was his first, I think, really filmed project. And similarly, it could be very easy to be enticed to go another way. But the moment I saw him read those lines, no, that's my guy.
You went with who was best for the role and not based off numbers of a following because of X, Y, and Z reasons from other people.
Well, and then I think all that stuff matriculates into the other parts of the project. So you get on set and you have the best people there. So now that's running a little more smooth. They've been hired because they're actually the best people for the part and the best people for this set, right? Which is a whole other, you know, consideration, right? That you're thinking about, and I think that kind of decision making, I at least feel grateful that I've never been afraid to make in my life, who I'm surrounding myself with, and why, you know, this DP was chosen, this, you know, casting director was chosen. These are my producers, and that's part of the reason why I think the set runs smoothly, because all those people, including the actors, are there for the right reason.
Absolutely.
Right? That movie did not make you rich or did not make you rich.
But it was such a pleasant experience. Like, for example, that was one of those projects where you're like, just as a creative, as an actor, you're like, man, this is what I love. Like you said, it did not make us rich, but this was one of those projects where it's like, oh, I'm thankful and I'm excited to work with a group of people like this, because right now, this is one of those projects where it's bigger than the money. You know what I'm saying? The outcome, the purpose, and what the message is and what was being delivered here is bigger than the money for what the vision was, right? And being at a point now where it's like, you've now been able to take this momentum and now carry that into other projects, right? And like you said, being around the best people is so important, because your first AD was dope. The camera operators were dope. The DP was on point. It's like on that set, everybody was a working unit. Now, when it comes to 1-800 Hot Night, what was the experience with that? Because that's your most recent film. That's what everybody's talking about right now, where you're getting anything that has to do with your name right now. I know they're bringing up that movie because it's relevant. So what was the process like that set and making that movie?
Well, we were in the middle of the pandemic, and I was about to buy a house. Like, I was about to buy my first house. And I went, we actually put an offer on one house, and we lost it. And we were about to look at another one. And I remember I'm driving home with my wife, and like, people use this term like, oh, my ride or die person, or whatever, you know, whatever, you know, maybe not, you know, would that person like be around 3 years when you're behind glass or something? I don't know.
Like, shit really does hit the fan a little bit.
Yeah, but Allie is truly that for me. She's a true creative partner, life partner that just believes in our joint mission together. And we're driving home one night, and she's like, what are we doing? Why are we trying to buy a house? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm trying to have a roof over my head. I want to
have a crib,
I want to
girl.
stop paying rent. Yeah. She said, no, you know, and you're talking about making a movie. And she's saying, yeah, what else are we here for? We live in Los Angeles. Let's go move to, you know, I don't know, somewhere in Arizona where houses are $200,000 a pop, not $800,000 for a 1,000 square foot box.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, with one bedroom in like 2 square foot yard or whatever.
Yeah. And I just looked, I'm like, you're right. You know, what are we doing?
Smart move.
Fuck a house. Let's go make a movie. So
I
we
love
took
that.
Every single dollar we had, literally every dollar we had, and I had this movie, 1-800 Hot Night. I used to call this phone sex operator when I was a kid. And when I was like 12, I had called. The number was 1-800 Hot. Fuck.
Yeah, you can say, hey, nothing gets filtered on this podcast, bro. We keep it raw, bro.
That was the original title of the
1-800.
script. But you can't send a script to like 14-year-old kids with like 1-800 Hot Fuck on the title page, right? So I'm like, And I wanted the whole movie to take place over one night. So 1-800 Hot Night was kind of a double entendre that worked also for the phone sex line. And that was the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, I could see the start of this movie, these three boys, like 13-year-old boys, 14, crammed in a phone booth, talking dirty. You know, they get caught, it's like fun. And I was just thinking of how I used to kind of stomp around, you know, with my friends when I was a kid, and the trouble we would get into, and the sadness, you know, the things that had happened. And there's scenes in that movie. There's a scene where Tommy, played by Dallas Young, who, you know, was on Cobra Kai now, great young actor.
Dope actor, man.
He was just nominated actually for like a critics award for Hot Night, which is dope. I'm really proud
I just saw
of him
that
for
on your page,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yo, congratulations,
Breakout
bro.
of the year
That's
award.
badass.
I know, I'm stoked for him.
That's
So
badass.
He's moving the scene where he gets robbed by these three guys, and that happened to me. Like that actual scene happened to me in all those ways where these dudes pulled me into their apartment and locked me in with them and threw me around and put this like big lizard on my face and neck, and like I peed myself. I didn't realize I had peed my pants. They jacked my money because I was collecting for my paper route, and I had like a couple $100 in there. I just went home crying. At the time, my dad wasn't in town. He just worked field jobs. They'd like send him away. You know, he wasn't making much money. My mom was a waitress at Red Lobster. So I just had no one to cry to. I just kind of went home. My brother's like, what the fuck you want me to do? Like, I can't go roll up on these guys. They're adults, you know, we're children. So you just kind of take the loss.
The chin.
So the moments like that I was able to build into the script. And yeah, I mean, I guess to circle back, it's middle of the pandemic. I write this very, very personal movie. I dump every dollar I have in it. And like one of the dope things is, you know, just talk about the universe, right? You kind of connect these dots along the way. All right, so we put our money in, and it ain't enough, right? And so I'm like, and when I went to the bank and I signed over the money, like I wired the money over right to the LLC account, I didn't feel anything. That's how I knew I was doing the right, like literally nothing.
Like you didn't feel any fear, like any like
I get anxiety
like
when
nervousness.
I buy like a new pair of boots. For $200.
But,
I'm like, oh, I just spent $200.
But this
on
felt
boots.
good because it was towards purpose.
$100,000. I didn't blink. I was like, whatever. Let's
Wow.
go. Just signed it. Walked out.
Wow.
Felt nothing. I was like, doing the right thing. Then I get a call from my casting director, or not my casting director, my line producer, and it's like, I'm not even joking, 10 days before production's about to start. So everything's
Locked
ready to
and
go.
loaded, ready to go, pre-prepped.
And my line producer like gets on the phone with me. It's like 10 o'clock, and we're still in like lockdown.
Don't
by
tell
the
me
way,
he hits
right?
you with the we don't have enough.
Don't have enough. We're $50,000 short.
Oh shit.
I'm like, what do you mean? And they start walking me through the budget. Like, you messed up here, like on the budget. Because I was like cutting corners, like, well, I could get this.
Pulling
for this.
favors and stuff like that. Yeah.
You need $50,000 more just to shoot the movie. That's not even going to get you through post. That's just to shoot the movie.
Damn.
And I'm like, what do we do? And Allie and I are kind of despondent. Get off the phone. It's like now it's like 11 p.m. and we go for a walk. Let's go for a walk. And we go for a walk, and I'm just like, man, I don't know how. If this is going to work out, it's going to work out. We have to make this movie. The very next day, Allie had a hair test for her character. She plays phone sex operator. And so she was getting these like pink braid extensions put in. And she gets them put in, and she just looks so good. She sends me a text that next day, and I'm like, oh my God, you look so hot. This is great. I love this. We got to do this hairstyle more often. I was just feeling it. And then that night, I posted on Instagram. I just never do that. I just barely post on Instagram.
You're very low key.
Yeah, but I post her on Instagram, just kind of giving her some love. Like, man, doesn't my wife look great? Type of thing. And so let's say it's 10 p.m. LA time. I get a message on Instagram from the guy I wrote my thesis with in college, a good friend of mine, this guy Adam Marino, like an angel of a human. He hits me up on Instagram, so it must be like 1 a.m. his time in Manhattan. He's like, dude, Allie looks dope. What's this about? What's up? I'm like, oh, it's for this new movie character. And he's like, that's crazy. That's really cool, man. You got to let me know next time I want to get involved. And I was just like, but you know, like, he's my friend. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I just want to be his friend. I'm not trying to like hit him up for cash. I was getting, so my plan was to sell our cars, sell like any of Allie's like handbags, my watches.
You start looking at anything that can bring some type of dollar to this without having to ask somebody else for it.
Yes, we were going to sell everything.
Wow.
That was our plan.
That's why, dude, I respect you so much, bro. And this really quick, because I want you to continue the story, but this is so synonymous with what me and my friend Catfish was talking about on one of the other episodes, right? Where it's like sometimes you gotta be willing to sacrifice and just put up your own dollars just to get the shit done, so it doesn't wait around. But so what happened then? So you talked to this guy.
I didn't say anything. I'm like, he's like, he's like, you gotta let me know next time. I was like, yeah, I will. And he goes, then he writes back, unless you still need money for this round. And I was just like,
actually.
So I said, actually.
Kind of funny you asked.
Yeah, I did. I said, so we do. I actually saved the message. I have a screenshot. I'm gonna frame that one day.
You need to.
And he goes, well, how much do you need? And I'm like, man, honestly, we're $50,000 short to get through production, but anything help.
Helps.
And he goes, I'll wire you $50,000 tomorrow. Just did it.
Wow.
I woke up the next morning and I was telling Allie, she gets.
He said, I'm gonna wire you $50,000 the next morning, just like that.
It took one extra day.
But still.
Yeah, it took an extra day. So it took like 48 hours and the $50,000 was in and we had the money. And the crazy part was like the next morning, I'm like, dude, he was 1 a.m. in Manhattan. He must have been drunk or something. He's like, I'm not going to hold him to this. I don't, let's go to bed. I wake up next morning, 9 a.m. He's like, hey, I need the wiring instructions. And I'm just like.
He's serious.
Yeah, he's serious. So we got to make the movie, and we, masked up, shielded up. If someone got, like, when you're making a movie for $230,000, like, during COVID, if someone gets COVID and we have to shut down,
that affects.
We're destroyed.
Yeah,
like, this is not.
That's bad.
Nobody got it. We only shot on weekends. I mean, it was really difficult to shoot because, when you're making a movie for that low of a budget, I mean, there's commercials on television for like Mattress Factory that are made for more money than this whole movie was made for. Part of the problem is with minors, you have to have them offset by midnight. I wrote a movie that takes place entirely at night. It's the height of summer. It doesn't get dark till 9 p.m.
Wow.
So we only had 3 hours to shoot each night.
No way.
Yeah.
So wait. Just want to give a moment to this episode's sponsor, Infinity Energy. Energy from within. Make sure you go to infinityenergy.com. This is made with pure B and C vitamins. It's a natural tea-based energy shot that will get you to focus on whatever you're doing creatively, gaming. If you're an athlete, this is what you need to be drinking and will not make you jittery like a lot of these sports drinks out there in the game. So make sure you go to infinityenergy.com and get the energy from within. Back to the scheduled programming. So you guys. Wait, I am tripping over you, bro. Wait, so you only had these group of kids for 3 hours a night, and you shot the rest of the movie around that.
So basically, I mean, they're in every scene, so it just wasn't really an option of, there was maybe like 1 or 2 very small scenes without one of them in it. So the way it would work is we only shot on weekends because the low pay was so low for everybody. Everyone had to work their day jobs. I was working Monday through Thursday, Allie working Monday through Thursday, and we'd shoot Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We did that for 6 weeks, so 18-day shoot, but spread over 6 weekends. Okay, so I'd get everyone to set by, let's say, 3 p.m. And we would, but in the sweltering, it's like 100 degrees. It's LA, late July. It's just 100 degrees out.
That's the worst.
Hot. But we're walking through, and so we're rehearsing. We're okay. I want to do this, and I'm working with the actors, get them back into air conditioning. Okay, break for lunch at 8. We let an hour pass. Once 9 o'clock hit,
straight to
sprint 3 hour shooting.
Dude, you know what? And this is why I feel like I have so much respect for you, not only just as a friend, but just as a filmmaker, right? Just on what you do, because bro, the fact that one, I always find it so ironic when you really do something that's aligned with your purpose, right? To me, the fact that you're willing to give up so much for your vision, right? You're like, man, this is my vision. This is what I need to do. I really feel like this is gonna add value. This is purposeful for you to walk to the bank, $100,000 out of your own savings. And look, I don't care who you are. When you gotta dump $100,000 into it, you have to think about what's the outcome. And for you to walk in and be like, I know this is gonna be worth it. I know, because all it's doing now is creating more opportunities for you, because you now have 2 strong films underneath your belt that you have proof that you were able to not only execute at this budget, right? You had Lolo, you had 1-800 Hot Night, and you're executing these movies in these crazy time frames And bro, so when you get what you really want, it's gonna be so smooth because I look at your style and your process of preparation. Like, you have taught me so much about preparation, bro, and you're so adamant about your time. The thing that I really love most about your story, though, is the conversation between you and Allie. I love the fact that Allie was so honest to be like, hey, why are we buying a house? And to me, I feel like that's so important in this business, that if you're gonna be in a relationship, to be in a relationship with somebody that adds to your purpose. Yeah. And I think that's so dope how she added to the purpose. She was like, hey, look, we talk about this every day. I know what you're going through. I know what your mind is on. Is this really what we need right now?
Yeah.
Like, is this really what we need right now versus like, this is where our heart's at, so let's just do this. Yeah. The fact that you guys were like, yo, I'm gonna go ahead and just hold off on this right now so we can just focus on the vision. Bro, look, I think it's so important to, like, when you're in a relationship, to have a relationship with somebody who adds to your purpose, right? You're so dialed in on what you want to do as a filmmaker, and you clearly know what you want. And the thing that I admire and I love about your style of filmmaking is that a lot of your stories are personal. You know, a lot of them come from real places, and that's why I feel like some of the best art comes from is when it's from an authentic place. You know, when somebody makes a song that's authentic to their current experience in life, I think those songs tend to hit the best because it's something that people can really relate to. Taking moments from your childhood that had these big impacts in your life and to showcase that story in an authentic and raw way is so dope. You know what I'm saying? My question to you, though, is like, throughout this whole process of you making these movies, you tapping into your niche, into your realm, your style of filmmaking, to who Nick Richey is, what are some of the things that you've actually struggled with and some of the habits that you've had to essentially crawl out of to evolve into the person you are now to get these things done, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I've always been a hard worker.
Okay.
I mean, so that was, you know, I got that from my parents. You know, when I was 13, I went on a Greyhound bus from Portland, Oregon to Medford, Oregon to work on like a logging farm. At 13, I was like with a chainsaw. They just put me on. I was by myself.
I respect that.
I worked in an apple orchard the summers. I mean, I was trying to paper routes. I'd go door to door, knocking on apartment doors. Can I take your garbage out for a quarter? I mean, literally, these are just things I would do to just try to make it. So I had that built in when it came time to write scripts or shot lists. You can't. I will not ever allow someone to outwork me on that sense. Like, I'll wake up when I'm up this morning. I check my phone, make sure if there's no emergencies, and I'm open, writing, just next thing, you know, breaking it down. So those were things that like those things are kind of built in. One of the I think a lot of times in my life I've struggled with confidence and when to exude that confidence or seize it and build on it, and what in a sense being afraid of being perceived as conceited or egotistical. Or yeah. And there's a hard balance there because I was in a band for some years and, you know, kind of the lead of the band, but never wanted to take the lead position and let it be just a full democracy. And everyone's kind of, that's a place that's been really challenging for me, is to really take the reins. And I'm getting better at doing it, but it's something where like allowing yourself to be the leader, allowing yourself to, you know,
step into that role.
Yeah, step into that role and really command everyone that they're there because they believe in your vision. Yeah. I had a tendency, even on Lolo, to, and I don't think this is a bad thing. I had a tendency to, you know, walk up, hey, thank you so much for your time. I just want to thank, you know, like as if treating it like everyone was just doing me a favor.
But bro, that is massive though. That does matter.
It does matter. I agree. And I think the gratitude matters so much. But I think where it can become dangerous for me is that I can sometimes translate that into like an insecurity that people don't actually want to be there. See what I'm saying? Like, and that can hold me back creatively. So that's like a big challenge actually that I've kind of struggled with. And I think maybe part of that comes with like 15 years of being in Los Angeles and being rejected here left and right. And then another part of it, and this is going to circle back to the conversation about having someone in your life like an Allie who is a powerful creative presence for me and a supportive presence for me is I don't know if I would still be here without her.
I love that.
I've had my face shoved in the mud just so many times, where it's like
Hurtful, yeah.
And
it hurts because you've been so close.
Yeah, man, so close.
That's why I feel like people don't fully understand. It's like when you get that offer, or you see these contracts and these numbers, and then all of a sudden there's like one little thing like that stops it from being signed, the deal going through, and it was just right there. You know what I'm saying? I know that those are the ones that you really feel like, fuck, and you feel like she really was able to uplift you to keep moving forward, or?
Yes, absolutely. And if it, truly picked me up. There was an interview with like Morgan Freeman. I don't remember what, it might have been Inside the Actor Studio or something. And someone had interviewed him at one point saying like, and then you took some years off just to relax. He's like, took years off? I didn't take any years off. When I wasn't working, I wasn't getting hired. Morgan Freeman was sitting there telling a story about how many times he's been on the ground, face down, people stomping on him, he's done. And then it just was a person that lifted him up by the shoulders, put him back on his feet. This is Morgan Freeman saying this, okay? Like one of the most prolific actors of all time.
Facts.
I've been in that position, just in tears, on my back, like I can't do this anymore. I quit. Like no one wants what I've got to say. And it's Allie that's like, nope. Nope.
I love that. Hey, shout out to Allie. That's a real one.
But so, those have been real big challenges for me, honestly. And even age, like I had a manager recently. I'm about to turn 40 next year. Not next year. Fuck, this year.
Yeah. 2023 now, boy.
2023. Catch me in Rome for my 40th birthday.
Hey, shit, I'm trying to be there. What's up?
But I just had a manager that I just let go of before Hot Night came out, who was telling me that, well, you're too old to be a staff writer. No one's going to want you on a show. Right. And I'm like, I can't have your negativity in my life. Not if I'm going to be
now your atmosphere. People
go.
like that are toxic. Those type of people will. Here's the thing. I don't mean to cut you off, but I have a big pet peeve of anyone that tries to throw limited beliefs onto me or the people on my team that we're not thinking about, and they need to be removed because they're toxic, bro. Yeah. It's like, to me, because that idea and that thought was put in his head by somebody else, and that's how he looks at himself, right? If you're someone like you or me, where we're like, I don't think like that, so that doesn't apply to me because I'm not operating like that. You know how many writers' rooms I'm sure you've been in that I've even seen at the table reads of shows where you could tell these are writers who've been in the game for years, who are a lot older than you and me, but they have experience, they have knowledge, so that's why they have the power on the pen, because they're nice with the pen, they got experience. So it's like, I feel you. I think that was so smart by getting rid of somebody like that who was supposed to be on your team, who's now hurting you.
Oh man, yeah, it was. I wish those people well in that company well. No problem.
No problems, but
I just can't have that. Yeah,
that's why I want every actor and filmmaker to realize, it's like when you have an agent and a manager, right? It's so important for everybody to be on the same island, because at the end of the day, man, like, this is your life. Like, for real, this is your life. This is the things that we're creating, the things that you're doing. Right, and the opportunities that even having a good manager, agent, when everybody's on the same island, everybody's really winning together and helping together. Because, like, for example, I'm so thankful for my relationship with my manager and my agent. Like, I love being able that we can go out to dinner, or we can even play video games, or like we just have a great relationship, right? When it comes to the work or whatever needs to be done, like they're on it. But it's like they make me better. They don't take away from me. There's times where I've had some offers on the table. It didn't go my way. And they always encourage. Always, hey, we may not have got this one, but hey, the next one's coming right up. The next one's right around the corner. The next one, like, just, and it's so important to have that on your team. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I love that.
You have to have that. I agree. And now I'm kind of hunting for that now, right? Mm-hmm. Where I'm like, okay, I want to build this team, for the next 20 years, who's going to be in my corner. It can be longer than 20 years, So yeah, there's been those challenges of things that have been really difficult in the last 5 years, particularly. And in that 5 years, making movies and still doing getting a show picked up at ABC, and even that didn't go through. But similarly, like for things that, it was just in optics. I created a show with a guy, and it was about like this time period in Jamaica, and they were like, well, you're two white guys, you can't create this show. Our Jamaican executive producer, this guy Ross Casa, who's amazing, was like, excuse me, I'm right here. Like, this is the first time I've had a seat at the table, and you're saying like, this can't go because Nick's white? Like, that's your problem?
Yeah.
This is a show that would employ like Caribbean actors, Caribbean directors, Caribbean writers.
Yeah, facts.
And it's going to stop now because two white dudes at Hulu are uncomfortable. And they don't want to signal because they don't want to end up in like Variety and like a bad article.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
It was their job.
No, I'm coming for those people now.
I
feel hungry for it now. Like,
good.
I want to be Mike White standing on stage for the White Lotus, the Golden Globes, going, "You all passed."
I love that.
He looked out at everybody. You all passed on my stuff. But it does now. But that stuff used to really weigh heavy on me. Where I'd be like, "Well, I just love this idea. Why does this have to be put into a box? Like, let's go get the right people. Then it's just an idea. I don't have to be the face of it. Even I don't care. Like, now I'm letting that fuel me." And it's reinvigorating me instead of where I think a couple of years ago I would have let that be more of like a baseball bat to the back of the head.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Definitely.
Oh my God.
But now it's kind of like rolling with the punches type of mentality, right? Where it's like, all right, well, I'll take that one on the chin. Cool. I'm gonna keep it pushing now. Like if y'all might have passed, like, bet I'm not gonna stop. I'm just gonna adapt. I'm gonna adjust. I'm gonna make this shit work.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, even
all
more.
it is.
That's right. I feel even more motivated. I'm like, cool, I'm going to sit on this for a minute.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to get this movie out. And I'm going to get the next movie greenlit. And then I'm going to go make this show without you.
You know what's crazy? So my brother and I had this power talk yesterday for like 2 hours, right? And we were talking about a few things, but one of the things we were talking about was if someone says no, my brother was like, I don't really ever hear no. I hear yes and yes. Yeah.
I love that.
And I started laughing, right? I was like, yo, that's actually so real. He was like, yeah, I hear yes and yes, because if they didn't say yes the first time, I'm just going to go back. I'm just going to adjust what I need to adjust. I'm going to fix. I'm going to go what I need to do. And they're going to say yes. Like, at some point, someone's going to say yes. But I hear yes and yes.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's a dope mentality. And then going back into what you were talking about on your struggle, where you feel like you struggle between, a sense like confidence and ego, like stepping up to the role, stepping up to lead, essentially, right? I had a really deep conversation with my brother yesterday about ego, right? And really just getting to the bottom of it. Like, can ego be a good or a bad thing, or is it always considered a bad thing? Because sometimes you hear ego a lot, and it's always like put in like this like negative realm, this negative space, right? But then you hear, certain people, like for example, the documentary on Netflix, I think it's called The Redeem Team, about the USA Olympic basketball team going and winning the Olympic gold. Okay. And there's the coach of that team. There was something he said that I thought was interesting. But he was like, hey, he's like, a lot of you guys, are being told to leave your egos at the door. Your egos are what make you who you are. So I want all of us to put our egos under one big ego umbrella. Yeah. And just be the best, right? And just be the best, right? And I thought his perspective on that was so dope. And for the longest, up until yesterday, I had this conversation with my brother. I kind of started looking at ego, and not an arrogant or conceited or I'm a better than way, but it's a sense of this is how I was looking at versus how I look at it now. How I was looking at it was like, well, if you just put in the work and if you do what you're supposed to do and you believe that like you're great in what you do to service others, then you just got to go with that. But then my brother and I talked about this yesterday, and he was like, Dom, I wouldn't label that ego. I think that's just belief. Belief and confidence, and believing and having ego are still two different things, because it's like progress creates belief, I should say. So when you make progress, you get more belief, you get more inspired, you feel like you can do more things. So actually choosing to step into your role as a leader should be always with the utmost belief, because of what you're doing to service other people. Like your intention for the Jamaican show, for example, right? You're thinking like, guys, what are you talking about? Do you understand how many jobs this can employ out there in the Caribbeans? Yeah. Like stop, please remove me out this. This is not about me, guys. Please remove me, okay? This is about what we can do for these other people. And and just being in a space to consistently operate to where you're a service to people, I think is what belief and confidence really is. And it can suppress the ego, because I think ego, I'm starting to realize more, is about letting go of an idea you're attached to. You know, and not being self-absorbent, not being conceited, but like, you know, look at your, again, I have to say this, now you have a body of work now. You know that if you do this, do that, this formula will come out. So you know the preparation. You're like, okay, if I prepare, if I do this, if I hire this, like this is how this will turn out. But it's like, to me, I think, I just always want to encourage you to continue to step into that role, because we need people like you, bro, who are willing to essentially take that risk. Because the way society is built is they don't want people to step into that role, because things kind of start being controlled. But then when you have people like you that are like, you know what, I'm tired of dealing with y'all getting in the way, you know what, I'm over this, there's another way, let's go. And you make new ways happen. And that's the ones who actually get shit done, I think, in this business, you know?
Yeah, and I actually agree to an extent on the ego side of things. I've thought about this. I was a competitor also. I wrestled, played football, played baseball. You have to have some level of like healthy ego, yeah, where you have, I mean, Dom, you have to be able to get up, look yourself in the mirror and go, I'm the best actor in the world.
Yeah.
I'm the greatest.
Yeah.
If you're not doing that, you're
gonna lose.
You're gonna lose.
You're gonna lose. Sorry, you're just gonna lose.
There's a little bit of like maniac in each of us doing this work, right? Like, and it's required. Like, I read like biographies on artists. Like, I just read one on Jackson Pollock and read another one on Van Gogh, and they're massive. They're really interesting, and it's a similar thing where like I see their struggles, and there's diary entries that are part of these bios, and I feel like, man, that's like what I'm thinking, you know. And you realize, you know, what it takes. You know, when you go back and you can use like sort of a firebrand character right now, like a Kanye West type of person, and you see old interviews of him and the way he believed in himself, that is required.
Yeah,
that is absolutely required.
It's like
if you
an
want
obsession
to be here. Yes, because there's everyone else here will try to destroy you. I mean, there are angry people in this business, in every business, but in this business, there are angry, terrible people that don't feel good about themselves. They don't want you to feel good about yourself either. So when you show up with your creativity, they want to stifle it. They want you to feel bad. That's going to happen. You're going to come up against that. So you have to have like
some type of
true belief.
Yeah, belief.
And then you got to be careful. You need to tether it to something, right? So if it's Ali for me and my life and my family life, which is strong, and I have that core and that foundation, that you can send me out into that crazy Wild West realm of like having to go out there and say I'm the best fucking writer, director that exists on this planet. That's why I'm making this movie. I have to step into that with that kind of confidence. And then if the movie blows up, that those people back there go,
yeah,
you ain't that special, man. Come back here. You're just Nick. Let's do this. Like, let's get back to work, right? And if you don't have that, if you get severed from that, and like, again, I'm not here to like psychoanalyze a Kanye West type of person, but perhaps Donda was that for him. And then you lose that family member, and you lose that tethering. You start to forget that like I'm just a person. Yeah. Yes, I believe in myself. Art is great, and I love my art. On to the next thing.
Wow, great example.
You know,
I love that.
So I I just think about that, what that ego that's required, and I feel like I'm starting to. It sounds like you are also sort of wrap my brain around the version of it that feels healthy for me, where I can step up into this role and feel like I can command that. Yeah. And then also know how to step back and get back to work.
Exactly.
There will always be things that humble you, but sometimes that can turn to anger. Like I've had people come up. I mean, this happens, right? Like there's a Tech Nine line in this song "Fragile" where he's like, people don't understand why I get so pissed. Because I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit, you know, or something like that. It's like he's like talking about critics and like how, of course I get fucking sensitive. You just said my stuff sucks. I spent fucking years working on this. This is my life. This is my art. This is my passion. And you, some guy with a blog in Colorado, just decided to take a dump on it. Like, let's throw hands, dude. I will fucking bury you.
Like, what have you even done to even critique this type of work? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's your level?
And it can get personal.
It can. And you have to learn how to
not
block it out.
Yes. And instead, whether it's taking a rejection, and you know this as an actor, whatever it is, and going, or it can be a rejection from someone who saw your movie and just hates it.
Yeah.
You just go on to Rotten Tomatoes and some random person just goes, this movie sucked.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay,
Right.
let's talk about this. You know,
down the street.
but instead you go, no, just get back to work.
Back to
How
work.
do I get back to work in a healthy way? Yeah, that stuff is always going to be there to humble you, but it can turn vicious and get into a negative cycle where you feel negative about it. Or, you know, for me, I turned around and started taking a writing class a couple months ago just to be like,
that.
how
Just
can I be a better writer?
Get sharper.
Yeah.
Just get better.
Someone's got to teach me something. I got to get better. And I'm taking a writing class right now every week.
I love that. I love you're always remaining a student of the game.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that it's so important to, in every aspect of your life, remain a student in the sense of like always stay learning. Like I talk about the 4 pillars a lot with my friends. I talk about spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional. These are all like tires on a car, right? They all need air in them, because if you stop putting air in one, the other 3 can be running, but it's gonna slow the vehicle down.
Yeah.
You know, so you're not gonna be able to go as fast as you usually can because not all these tires are filled. And sometimes, if you think about a car, you can get fresh tires, right? And after a while, after wear and tear, they start to wear down, and you need to replace them, or you need to add new ones or put air in it. And to me, that's very relative to your craft and your skill when it comes to mental, spiritual, physical, and emotional. Because, you know, there'll be times where I'm like, all right, my body's my priority this year, right? I'm gonna put on 20 pounds of muscle. Okay, emotionally, I'm feeling great because I'm working out, I'm seeing the improvements. Mentally, I feel stimulated, right? But then spiritually, I realized that I was putting so much energy in these other areas. I wasn't putting enough energy in my spiritual pillar. And when I say spiritual pillar, meaning going deeper in the oceans within myself, like asking myself more questions, like in terms of my habits, my why, like thinking about past times where I feel like I was seeking outside validation versus like, no, I don't do this for validation no more. I do this because of service and the value that it can just bring. You know what I'm saying? So it's like adding these, like keeping these 4 pillars in rotation in a healthy manner is so important, you know. And hearing the way that you're talking about how like you're moving with, you know, again, just your whole life, just the balance of the ups and the downs, you know, when things are going good, when things aren't going good, and then how things come around. So it's like, this kind of leads me to my next question is like, how has this industry affected or made you stronger with your relationship? When it comes to this stuff, like how do you keep a balance? Because I look at you as an individual, right? You're doing your filmmaking, right? And then you have this passion for these ancient artifacts that your business partners, you guys are finding. Nick and his partner had these beautiful, you know, collections of these artifacts, man. They go way back, man. It's really beautiful, but it's like a passion. It's like a hobby for them. And then you have your relationship with your wife. And now there's this like dichotomy of like, how do you not tip the scales, like not overwork, and then now this is having an issue, or putting stuff into this and now this is dying. Like, how do you keep yourself so balanced with everything, or do you feel like you are balanced with it?
Yeah, I mean, you know what, I think on that end, I knew I wanted a relationship that did feed into this. I wanted to be with somebody who was aligned with me in a creative way.
Yeah.
So that was a must. That and a healthy love for Disneyland. I do go. But when I met Allie, that was really one of the first things that sparked for me, was just her belief and her passion, her creativity. Similarly, you know, this is a woman who at 18 years old left her family, moved to New York, you know, tried auditioning for Broadway, went to Tokyo, was singing in the musical. That, you know, like, this is someone who's went way outside of her comfort zone, went from nothing, you know, supported herself, and I saw that drive and I was attracted to that. I mean, when we first met, we were both, I'll never forget, like, when I first met her, I took her on our first date. I had this beater car, just messed up old Acura Legend with a bumper that fell off. If you hit a red light, the engine would start to overheat. I'd have to rev it to keep it from going down. I didn't want to pick her up in that, so I borrowed
like
my business partner Zach's BMW, pull her out. take her out for a date, whatever. I'm maxing my credit card out at Castille, right? I'm like, I gotta see it. Look on the statement. I got $300.
Let me get the salad and the wine.
Yeah.
Let me get I'm just eating healthy right now. Nothing personal. Get what you want.
Yeah.
Though, you know.
True story though. Yeah. I just maxed my credit card out, take her on a date. It's all I could afford. And then on our second date, I go to meet her, and she pulls up in this like old beat up Saturn, and I'm like, oh yeah, all right, this is cool. Yeah, you can see my car then.
Yeah. So you're like, all right, keep it real.
The ceiling falling down on her, like asbestos getting in your lungs. It's just, but no, you know, that's a huge part of it, is that she's along for this. She's not just along for the ride. She's like co-piloting this entire life
the plane with you.
Yeah, and that's number one. Then then it's like I've got my family. Similarly, they're just so supportive, and they've got my back. Time management is a different thing entirely, in the sense that, like, you know, I give myself like a rigid writing schedule, and she's proud of me for that, so that's not a problem. That works out. I do it now, and I'm going to continue trying to improve on it. But like tomorrow, we're flying to Aspen. We're going to ski for 4 days. I'm not going to write.
Yeah.
I'm going to ski. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I'm going
all
to
time.
drink wine and eat good food and ski. And that's it. And we're just going to have a great time doing that. And so I make sure that we also have, like, we reward ourselves with these, you know, adventures, we call them, right? We're going to get out and go do something together. And, you know, and that can be on the weekends, even just seeing movies and sitting down and just taking a break. And she's got to remind me of that. But she's also good at that. That's good. She's good at reminding me of that. So the balance is there right now. I feel really good about it. And, you know, I think I'm always just hungry for more. Yeah. So I could always, like, I think we're all continue to try to improve, and I'm trying to get better at this, is scheduling my day out, like, minute for minute. Now that might sound a little wild.
No, but it's important, bro.
Because you can actually schedule in. Like, I like to play Call of Duty, right? So, like, the problem is, if I sit down and start playing Call of Duty, I get on with my brothers, 3 hours goes by, and I'm like, oh shit, I just played fucking Call of Duty for 3 hours. My thumbs hurt. Yeah.
Let me tell you this. This is the realest shit, right? So I started doing this year, right? So I started doing daily tracking of my life, right? Someone who I watch a lot is Rob Dyrdek, right? Rob Dyrdek, man, he inspires me, because this guy has done so much in his life, and the way he talks about having a balance, having a harmonious life is so important to me. And he talks about what helps him out a lot is how he tracks his days, and he rates his days. He tracks his weeks, he rates his weeks, does it with months and the years, right? So I was like, you know what? Let me see what happens when you track. So I don't know if you can see on the camera, but like I literally started tracking all of my days, like hour by hour, like what am I doing? So what I'm doing for the first month, I'm treating it as like an experiment to be like, where am I not being as efficient in?
Yeah.
Certain days too, like certain days, I'll be like, ooh, I had a badass day today.
Yeah.
I only got 1 hour of gaming in, and I did all this stuff. Some days I'll get everything I need to do, but then same thing. My brother gets online on Fortnite, so is my cousin, so is our little homie Koki, and we're all on there. Next thing you know, we're playing for 3 hours. I'm like, oh damn, like, okay, I need to. Whoa, okay. I'll see y'all later. I need to go edit. I got something to do right now, because this just flew by, right? But it's like you're only more aware of that, like, if you can start tracking it. Like, I'm gonna start scheduling it in, like being efficient to still because like for me, like, I love playing video games, because I feel like when I'm not creating or working, it's like a mental therapy for me. You know, it's like just the stimulation. Also, I get to catch up with my brother and my cousin, to vibe. It's just the energy of gaming that, you know, gamers know. You know what I'm saying? But as a writer and director and a producer, to where you're at now in your career, are you extremely confident about your work, or do you still feel like sometimes that when you're creating something, is this going to be good enough?
Oh, yeah, I mean, it definitely has that doubt every time. Yeah, for sure. Every page, man. I mean, this morning I was like, spent the first hour just on one page of the script, where I was like, I just don't know if this line is right. Is this the right way to get out of the scene? And is there even tension in the scene? No, I mean, I don't feel that. I feel confident in one way. There's like a confidence in that I know I'm here to create in this world and like make these films and write these scripts, and I enjoy that and I love that. And then there's the I have so much more work to do, so much more to mine, so much more to discover. You know, with this next movie, Bits, Body, and Bones, I'm entering into pre-production, starting the casting process, and you know, shot listing and that stuff. You know, I'm watching other movies, you know, or TV shows. You know, I just watched the first episode of The Last of Us, for example. And I'm like, oh man, there's really cool. Like, look at how they did this. I gotta go back.
Shot for shot here in the game.
Yeah, I gotta go fix this. I didn't
Jake
know.
was just talking about that yesterday. Yep. And Isaac, yep.
But yeah, so you know, no, I feel right now I'm in a place where like I'm so hungry to keep learning, get better. I think there's masters out there, people that really, really command the craft, and I want to keep learning from them, and so I'm just like ingesting every movie I can. I mean, I'm watching, you know, The Menu, Triangle of Sadness,
Hey,
Barbarian.
my castmate was actually in The Menu. Arturo, he was in Roadhouse with me, man.
Oh, right.
Crazy movie, right?
Yeah,
Crazy
movie.
Yeah.
Loved it. You know,
Yeah.
but, and you know, just went and saw Plane with Gerard Butler. I don't care. Like, I want to see them all. I'm just trying to take it all in and learn. And but I do feel very confident. I do feel like every time I step away from another project, another script, I'm learning something about myself, learning something about the process, and I know I'm going to keep, you know, improving.
That's awesome.
You know, there's this like kind of long game, and I feel like this. There was I read a ton of biographies, but there was a John Rockefeller biography. You know, the Standard Oil kind of robber baron John Rockefeller, and he talked about this. Like, I'm not the smartest person, but I will continue to be the hardest worker.
I love that.
And I always have felt like I can do that. Like I may not be. Like, I don't know, maybe some people, they get behind a camera and they know exactly the perfect, beautiful angle, the geometry, everything. Maybe I don't have that built in innately as far as a visual storytelling component goes, but I will learn, and I will still be here 10 years from now.
Still learning.
Still learning, you know. So when you get comfortable and you get lazy and you stop learning, I'm still going to be learning.
Still growing.
And I'm going to pass you up.
I love that.
In a healthy way. I mean, not like
it's facts,
as a
though.
competitive.
It's the marathon, not the sprint.
Yeah.
You know, because again, you're right. It's you know, something that's really big in my family is like, where it's like, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish.
Yeah.
You know, some people that want to, you know, my brother again was talking to me about this yesterday, but if you think about a sprint, a lot of the best athletes that would win sprints are the ones who go 85% majority of the time, and they hit that 100 at the last. They don't go 100 from the gate and then slow down, because a lot of sprinters, if they go 100 from the gate, towards the end they slow down and they get passed up by the people that's just steady going. You know what I'm saying? So hearing the work ethic, I think, is so important, because again, it's like that healthy competition, bro. You're like, look, I'm gonna be better than I was yesterday, and that doesn't stop despite of what I manifest. Because comfortability is a thing. It really can hinder somebody's journey, growth. Like, I remember when I first got on Ray Donovan, bro, becoming a series regular on that show and being on seasons 4 and 5, and then finding out I wasn't gonna come back on season 6 was a waker-upper, right? Because I felt at the time in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm locked in. Like, you know, and when I say I'm locked in, like, I'm on, at the time, it was like the second most watched show, the second most watched drama behind Game of Thrones, right? It was getting all kinds of critically acclaimed awards, all these things. I'm like, man, like, they got love for me, right? I stopped caring about other auditions that would come in, because I knew I had guaranteed work. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I had guaranteed work, and I'll get some other auditions, and if I didn't get it, I was like, all right, whatever, like, I'm gonna go to work tomorrow. Like, and it was like this, like, oh, I made it, and I, like, in terms of like my dream as a working actor, I'm working with A-listers, I'm here, and I've proven my worth, because I'm a series regular now, and I brought something to the table. Finding out when they got all new writers, season 6, and from all the things they were telling me that was gonna happen in my character season 5 versus what changed season 6, it woke me up when they didn't bring me back, and to be like, hey, don't get comfortable just with one thing. You know, nothing is forever, right? And now I feel like, even for example, after doing Roadhouse, right? bro, I'm still like, yo, whatever self-tape or opportunity, like, I'm so hungry to want to keep having more longevity and to keep going and going and going, because it's like, I remember the time of when I got casted for Lolo, 2019. No, I'm sorry, 2018. 2018 is when it happened.
Dang, yeah, that's crazy.
It came out 2019, but it got casted for it 2018. We shot in the beginning of 2018, and it came out a year later. I know this because in my own show I'm developing, I've gone through my own life. I know all the dates. I know, bro, I've been on this shit, dog. Right? So, so I was on Ray Diamond 2016, 2017, Ray Diamond season 5. Also did City of Lies at the time with Johnny Depp. And then I find out I'm not coming back. 2018. When I got Lolo, it was just the title in itself, right? It was so relative to how I was feeling at that time, you know? And then reading the story about, like, you know, hitting such a low and hitting rock bottom that at least the only way from here is up.
Yeah.
Was such a message that I loved. That's why I fucking loved Lolo and being a part of it, bro, because at that time frame of my life, man, like, I felt low, bro. I was like, damn, like, I'm not coming back. Like, I'm starting to think I'm not at work. Like, I'm like, what's going on in my life right now? I feel like everything was so unpromised, you know? But, you know, it goes back to when you stay consistent with the work, when you have, like, a routine, you're like, no, every day I got to get better. Every day I got to improve. Every day I got to find a way to just to be a little bit better than yesterday. You're going to have a longevity career, and you're going to end up outworking and passing up all the people that at some point get what they want and they stop going for more.
Oh, dude, some of the most talented people I know are just stuck.
Dude.
They just stuck because some of it was like God-given. They just, whether they got an amazing singing voice or something else, and then they just don't do anything with it. I'm like,
you got to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
You got to be around people that also that aren't yes men. Like, I love that you said Ali, for example. Like, she's somebody I know that's gonna tell you if you're on your shit or if you're not.
Oh, right. Yeah. We have fights about notes. She's like, no, this is not good enough. I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Bro, but it's ideally though, in a crazy way, it's healthy, because even with me and my girl, man, like, her and I, like, she's added to my purpose in so many ways, even just with my own body, with becoming healthier, becoming better. But it's like, she'll challenge me in certain ways to make me better, right? So even when I used to be watching different podcasts, or, you know, just before I started wanting to do this, she'll be like, hey, Dom, you ever think about this for your podcast? Or think about throwing out ideas, whatever. I'm like, oh, I rock with this. But it's like having a team of people, whether it be friends, women, because of women or men, if you have a team of people that comes to the people you're working with, someone you're in a relationship with, or someone you're doing business with, it's like being around people that will keep you accountable is like everything. And I feel like I can tell that how that really helps you out in your life, because again, you're always doing your shit, but then you have moments where, man, sometimes we just need that other spark, that other fire.
Tether you have to have. That we talked about earlier. Someone who's there pulling you back.
Yeah,
like don't get comfortable.
I always say pulling back, not letting you fall off.
Yeah, not letting you fall off. Absolutely. Yeah, that's even better. Yeah.
Not letting you fall off.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now, in terms of where you're going with life and your career and what you're manifesting, bro, what's like your biggest goal as a filmmaker that you want to accomplish?
Oh, man. Honestly, that, like, no matter what, there's been times where I visualize, like, oh, I want to win an award. That's not it. Yeah. It's not it. What I want to accomplish, is really sort of I want to reach a look over my shoulder moment, 20 years from now, and see that I kept telling the stories I wanted to tell with the people that I love.
I love that.
That's it. And if it is the realization again, and maybe it's because I was in a band for a while, and you learn, like, whether you're playing for 10 people or 1,000 people, it doesn't get any better than that. It doesn't get any better than 10 people in a room. And if you think it does, that industry is not for you.
Wow.
You probably end up addicted to drugs or something because you're looking for something else. You're not. It doesn't get any better than Lolo. It just doesn't. I got to, I don't care if you love the movie, hate the movie, it doesn't matter. For me, as a creative person, I told the exact story I wanted to tell with the exact people I wanted to tell it with. There was just so much love there. I was so proud of it. That's it. It's not going to get better than that. So, of course, would I love to not, I want $10 million for the next movie. Sure. Love that. Would love to have that. Because, sure, it'd be great to have some days where I'm not running around
3 hours to
100
shoot.
miles an hour, 3 hours to shoot. Yeah, please. But if I could just keep doing that, if I just kept spending my life savings every couple of years to make another movie, that's it. I've done it. This is the dream. I'm living it. I have a great life. I love my life. It's not, again, talking about some of the most miserable people I know are the most successful people I know in terms of what we see as success. People that have accolades, tons of money, and they're sad. They are sad.
There's no balance or harmonious inward.
No, and there's almost like in some cases, almost like a grappling guilt with, do I deserve to be here? Like I've gotten to you. For me, I don't even, and that's because there might have been focus on the destination. Like I just want to stay here in the work. I just want to keep writing. I want to keep making films. So, if I'm here 10 years from now and I'm still making movies with Ali, great. That's it. That's what I want to be doing.
And you're going to be doing it, bro.
Yeah, that's the goal.
You're going to be doing it, bro.
I believe that.
I feel like, let me ask you this. Do you prefer to make shows or movies? What do you like better?
I love, okay, so, I love, I probably prefer movies, actually, because you get to put it out, and it's kind of this finite piece of art where, like, show can go out and evolve, but also the tough part about shows politically and it's like, think about this. I've had 2 shows picked up at major networks, right? So one at CBS, one at ABC, one a half-hour dark comedy, one a 1-hour drama, and both those in the last 5 years. And I'm getting ready to take a new show out that I'm really excited about. You go out and pitch this, right? And you're pitching to if you got a lot of meetings, maybe you're pitching a total of 15 people, okay? You don't know who the fuck these people are, how they got this job, right? They're a development executive at some company, and they might have got the job because their mom was the president of the company, and they don't know anything about storytelling. Absolutely. They might have got the job because, maybe they're a film school student. They wanted to, I don't know. But there's all kinds of reasons why they can be a bad fit for you, not understand your concept, whatever. And they're the gatekeepers. There's nothing you can do about it. Yep. You can do the Issa Rae route, right, and go make 100 episodes of your own YouTube series to hope that one day, think of how many episodes she had to make before HBO, got smart. Someone got smart.
Facts.
How many times have you seen Issa Rae even cast in someone else's movie? It's nuts. She's insanely talented, right?
Extremely talented.
The actress from Chewing Gum and I May Destroy You. I'm forgetting her name right now. It's spectacular. It's how is she not on every she should just be doing nothing but working. I saw her in the new Black Panther film, but it just goes to show you there's not that many people out there really discovering talent, right? So the pitching on the television side is just such a slog, and then if no one picks it up, you just you pitched it to 15 people and it's dead.
You got to keep going.
Yeah, well, you got to keep going. But I'm saying, for the film, what's dope is you get to make it. Yeah. You can make the film and put the finished product out in front of people, not just in those rooms.
Yeah.
People get to see it. That's what Issa Rae did, right? Then you really, it's the only place where this industry is a meritocracy, is and it's because of things like YouTube, like it or not, and places where people can watch content essentially for free, is instead of just getting whatever the studio is shoving down your throat. You are actually getting to reach audiences. We had kids from Brazil sending me Instagram messages going, I pirated 1-800-HOT Night. I'm sorry, but I love the movie. It's my favorite movie of the year, and this connected with me, and I wish I could meet you. And it feels special, and then you're like, good, man, I'm glad. I don't care if you pirated the movie. I would have fucking sent it to you if you would have told me. I sent you a DVD.
Facts.
But good for you. You know, it wasn't available in Brazil yet. I get it.
I watched that shit though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's what I love about films, and they have that contained. You know, and again, similar to like writing a song. When I was in a band, I could write a song and I knew I could perform it in front of people. Yeah. Maybe 10 people, but I could perform it. Yeah. When you're out pitching the show, you may not, you know, it's really hard to...
It's you know, I'm learning a lot even with, you know, the show that me and my dad are doing, even with my own projects that like, sorry to say, like for me, like I love shows, right? Yeah. I love like seasons of like 1 hour dramas just because of... It's almost like a never-ending second act.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like there's so much to evolve, and it's like for longevity, right? But then there's things about movies, like when a movie is done really well, the way it sets with you, like when I saw Elvis. Yeah. Love the biopic. There's so many times I see biopics, I'm like, I just this movie I love. I was never a fan of Elvis. Yeah. Elvis used to really annoy me because every time I go to Vegas, I see all these fake costumes. I'm like, what's this thing with this guy Elvis, bro? Like, I didn't know about Elvis. Learning about it through the film and how they told the story, I was like, that's sick. That's awesome. But it's really interesting learning, you know, in the process of pitching a show, the process of pitching a movie, how much shit you got to go through on the back end and how, you know what, and how, you know how there's clout chasers in social media? These studios... And these people in these chairs do the same thing. It's like, who's attached?
Yeah.
What are the numbers looking like? Can this sell domestically, internationally? You know, where's the ROI going to come from? Like, talks about all these things where it's like, you have to really look at this from. It's like when you walk into a room. I remember you told me this a long time ago. When you walk into a room, you have to have pretty much like an answer ready for every no.
Yeah.
You know, for every time they say that this isn't gonna work, you have to have a response on why it would. Yeah. And then also love how you talked about pitching. You know, I remember because this is how I go to things now, where it's like, no one can ever pitch a story like you if it's something that's about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's your story. Yeah. I never forgot that you told me that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's real. It's like
the moment they think, yeah, I could hire good concept, but someone else could write this. Someone who's already written a show for us, you're out. But if they can't think of someone else that can write the show, if they're like, man, Dom's the only one who can tell the story. Now you got a story. They can't replace you, man. You're irreplaceable. That's your story. You know, that's right. That's exactly right. That's pitching. That's like secret sauce you got to find in each pitch, right? It's like, why am I the best person in the world to tell the story? So in a sense, like when I was telling the story about the Jamaican show, I can understand why an executive would look at me and go, you are not the best person to tell a story about anything Jamaican. And I'm like, of course I'm not. I totally get that. That's why I went and met this Jamaican filmmaker here, executive producer, who's been on the streets. So like, we let Casa take over.
He's like, yeah, right.
Again, you're too far gone that way. But it was a point though where I recognized, I'm like, yeah, and we've seen a lot of that. There's a lot of being put in boxes lately where like people, you know, I'm sure you see it where Power of the Dog, right? Benedict Cumberbatch, there were some critiques of like, well, you're not gay and you're playing a gay man. Right? We have to be careful too though about the boxes you're putting people in, because then are you saying with that logic, and someone decided to reverse that and say, well, then a gay man can't play a straight man. Well, now we got a big problem.
You got a major problem.
We should not be doing that.
No, you get rid of those parameters.
In the creative world, people should be able to act.
It's acting.
People should be able to act.
If that's the stuff you want to do, do it.
No, if you're doing a bad, like, if you're doing some, like, bad caricature.
Then absolutely, I can say why it gets ridiculed. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because now it's a misrepresentation of that community and that culture.
Correct. So similarly, if you're having you would never hire a Hispanic man to play a Japanese actor. Just not going to do it. Yeah. It's weird, Yeah. But it's happened where like Scarlett Johansson got cast in what was supposed to be like an Asian role or something, and you're like, whose idea was? I think James Franco's like just got cast to play Castro in some movie, and you're like,
it's like this thing too where they cast like even like white people to be Middle Eastern. You know what I'm saying? Do like playing like
Prince of Persia.
yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's like
Yeah.
it's like if you're gonna do something, do it to that role without trying to sugarcoat it or making it Hollywood's version of what that role or stereotype is.
That I understand, but yes, there is kind of a minefield now that you are trying to be aware of, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing in most cases, but then there's also like the part where you're going, well, now you're just like parsing people out, right? There was Catherine Bigelow was in an interview. You know, she's directed some of the most like masculine movies ever. Point Break, Hurt Locker. You know, I
love Hurt Locker.
Oh, she's a gangster. She's the best. You know, she's so amazing at her job. And someone was talking about like, well, you could say this about Lola. Well, Nick, why are you? Who do you think you are to write for female characters and tell this female story? You should be a woman who writes and directs this. Catherine Bigelow was confronted with a question similar to that about. And she's like, well, if that's the case, then I wouldn't have been able to make Point Break or Hurt Locker. If we're, she goes, so no.
Yeah.
Men should be writing roles for women, and
women can write roles.
And
for
women
men.
should write roles for men.
I love the analogy that you use where I said, look, even if you're straight, you should be able to play gay. If you're gay, you should be able to play straight. Like, just don't put these parameters on creativity or creating an idea when it's supposed to be about that vision. You know what I'm saying? Dude, I'm just so stoked just to have you on here today. I feel like you really brought so much value in terms of just talking about the ebb and flows of what it takes to be successful as a filmmaker in this game, and what are you willing to sacrifice in order to actually get the vision done? What are you willing to let go of attachment-wise to fulfill purpose so it can bring in bigger opportunities? And I feel like you're such a great representation of that. You know, you really put everything on the line to get this done. And it's like now you're getting so much benefits from, you know, the reviews, from the people seeing it, from the awards, from all these things with 1-800 Hot Night. And on top of that, I know you're working on another project, and now you're getting calls from the people that you originally were seeing for the people you want. Like, now everything's starting to come to you now. How good does that feel?
Oh, it's great. I mean, yeah, it feels good. I mean, it's nice. Sometimes it's nice not to have to, you know, feel like you have to run an ultra marathon just to get one thing moving. You know, so sometimes it's kind of a sweet moment when it falls in your lap.
Dude, I'm so proud of you, man. It's again, and I'm so thankful to. Honestly, I've even met and developed a friendship with you, man. Again, he's the one that gave me opportunity in Lolo, you know, in this movie. And this was awesome. It really brought out some amazing friendships and relationships out of this project. And I think it's all, again, a reflection of you, bro. It's a reflection of the energy you operate with, how you carry yourself, and even the people that you brought together in that team. It all stems up from who put it together, and it shows a reflection of character, bro. You know, and I just really want to commend you on that, and just, again, say thank you, man. And if there's anything you're working on next, you got coming up, man, please let them know what's going on, where they can follow you at, and, you know.
I will, yeah, please, yeah, come. Well, you know, Instagram's pretty much all I really use, so it's just Nick Richey 8, and I just kind of keep everything updated there. And we got, like I said, I got this new movie, Bits, Body, and Bones. It's in pre-production now, and there'll hopefully be some more kind of industry announcements on it soon. So I got to kind of keep some things under wraps. But
I like that.
Yeah, please watch Lolo on Paramount Plus. 1-800 Hot Night's available, you know, anywhere you can buy or rent movies, and will probably be available streaming soon, and will also be available in like 15 or 16 other countries here pretty soon.
Woo. Man, I can't wait till I can just say that. Just on the other end, bro. Like, I got this, go watch this. Like, man, like, good shit, man. Thank you so much for coming on today, bro.
Dude, thanks so much. I appreciate you, man.
Hell yeah. All right, y'all. That was another episode of Inspire to Inspire. Make sure to tune in, like, subscribe. You already know this is the place for filmmakers, actors, and content creators to connect to and connect the dots in your own journey, man. We'll see y'all next time.